Hello, and welcome to the North Coast Journal Preview, where we take a look at the stories being followed in the upcoming edition of the North Coast Journal. I'm your host, Dave Frank, and I'm joined this week by Thad Greenson, news editor, and Jennifer Fumiko Cahill, arts and features editor. Welcome, guys.
Hi.
Dave, how you doing?
Pretty good. I'm really excited for our conversation today because, spoiler alert, on the cover is Burger Week, and I absolutely love Burger Week. So I'm going to ask Jennifer to tell us a little bit more about that. I'm so thankful. My peers and friends are so thankful that you guys sponsor this. But first, before we dive in with that, Thad, can you tell us a little bit about a new development going on at the North Coast Journal?
Yeah, we made some news this week. The North Coast Journal, Inc., the company that publishes the journal as well as our special publications, has purchased the Ferndale Enterprise.
Excellent. Congratulations. That's cool.
Yeah, thank you. It's an exciting development. Caroline Titus, who has owned and published the Enterprise for 25 plus years now, I think, and stacked up a gazillion state and national awards, and has done a really admirable job there as essentially a one-person newspaper. So she has, for, again, over 2 decades, has not only been pretty much the sole reporter there and the editor, but she's also distributed the paper, sold its ads, laid it out. She does virtually everything. So you can imagine that being pretty all-consuming, and she was ready for the next chapter in her life and to slow down. And Melissa Sanderson, who took over North Coast Journal, Inc., earlier this year, kind of jumped at the chance to save a 143-year-old institution and to keep it publishing. So we're going to take it over, and Melissa has some pretty exciting plans too to expand its footprint coverage, eventually to cover the entire Eel River Valley. So it's going to start by kind of expanding into Fortuna, and we're going to go from there.
And for folks that don't know, that's up through much of southern Humboldt. Is that going to include into Mendocino too, or mostly just our area?
No, mostly just Humboldt County, and it'll extend up the 36 corridor, so into like Hydesville and Bridgeville and stuff like that.
Excellent. Right on.
Yeah,
well, congratulations to Melissa and to you guys, everyone there at the North Coast Journal. And you didn't give yourself props, but can you tell us a tiny bit before we talk to Jennifer about your role?
Well, I will, I guess, be the nominal editor of the Ferndale Enterprise. We're very much, it's going to be a newsroom-wide lift at the Journal, though, so we're all going to be working on it and sharing duties and stuff. So.
Right on. Well, congratulations again to you and the whole team. That's really great news for our community. With that said, welcome, Jennifer. Why don't you tell us about one of my favorite times of the year, Burger Week? What do you guys got going on at North Coast Journal related to Burger Week?
Well, the Burger Week is actually not an editorial product, but it's a promotional thing that our marketing department does, where they go out and kind of band together a bunch of restaurants to do a limited time burger on their menu. And originally when we did it, it was like this, they were like little burger deals, and they were like, what was it, like $5 or $7 or something per burger?
It was a $7 burger, I think.
The $7 burger, which is, in some ways really great and really fun, and of course a great deal, but also really limiting. And it kind of, much like a haiku, it created limits that perhaps fostered creativity, but now all bets are off. And the burgers are kind of wilder for that reason. And so we've gotten together, what is it like? Is it like 20? I don't know. It's a lot of burgers.
28.
28. Normally I'm like, can you collect them all? Can you eat them all? Don't eat 28 burgers. All right, you know what? Live your best life.
10 days, go for it. It's a pandemic.
10 days? That's true. Let's see, 10 days. How many burgers is that? Yeah, you're fine.
Less
you're
than
fine.
3 burgers a day.
Consult your doctor. One of them is fish. So anyway, we have a pull-out section. There's a great illustration on the cover from Dave Brown with the giant burger of my dreams on the back of like a giant Mack truck. And inside is, a crazy pullout full of the burgers that all the different restaurants are doing. And they're a little bit wild. It really depends on what you're looking for. Are you a person who likes an experimental burger? Are you a person who just wants the most insane, like dripping down your forearm burger, etc.? Like, we want different things. This is why when I wrote years ago, we did a roundup of like 20 different burgers around the county, like, favorites. And I really hesitated, and I never like to do like a number one, because truly, as we find in so many relationships, we want different things. And, some people like a flat top burger or like a smash burger that's been like, have you had a smash burger? Do you know what So a smash burger, meaning the smushed and, crispy at the edges, thin patty, as opposed to like a big, fat, juicy thing that's like almost round on the bun. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So there is pretty much something for everything. I will point out, among the things that caught my eye and made my heart kind of sort of not stop, but slow down, was the Gallagher's Irish pub, which of course is in its new location on Q in Eureka. Da Bomb Bacon. I always feel stupid saying Da Bomb or like naming. It's ridiculous coming out of my mouth, but here we are. Da Bomb Bacon Onion Mushroom Brie Burger. And you're thinking like, all right, those all sound reasonable, but it's in the photo, it is like a volcano of cheese and onions. And so, yeah, if you've already been told you only have a week to live, you might as well eat these. There is, as I mentioned, a fish burger, the JR Fish Burger at Cafe Marina over at Woodley Island. So if you want to sit outside and have a waterfront view, there's a giant slab of grilled fish that is just sort of lounging on a bun with slaw. There is, to my mind, I don't know where that is on this, but to my mind, the most adventurous has got to be the swimming cow.
Absolutely.
The swimming cow at Humboldt Brews has, grass-fed beef, balsamic marinated tomatoes, avocado, dill aioli, and salmon. So we're going full surf and turf on the sandwich. I don't know where I land with that, but part of me is like, I don't know. I have to know. Is it not quite lunchtime? Because the Madrone is doing a bagel burger. And I have in the past had mixed feelings about a bagel sandwich because of the toughness of bagels, etc. And to me, bagel is to be eaten one way. But I need to open my mind. We need to be constantly growing, evolving. Try the bagel burger. There's a lamb burger over at Opera Alley, which is sort of exciting. And I'm kind of excited to see Papa Wheelies in the mix, because there is a very strong, small but strong cult of Papa Wheelies in McKinleyville. Papa Wheelies is like a small restaurant bar, and people who love the burgers are obsessed. I know this because when I did not include them in the burger roundup, the messages I got, it was not just like, oh, you should have included them. It was like outrage. Utter outrage. And yeah, there's all kinds of stuff, including there's one burger that doesn't even, honest to God, look like a burger. There's ones with like jalapeno poppers. I'm very curious about the Shanty's burger, but the one over at Taco Loco in Fortuna, which Taco Loco, hey, what's up, Taco Loco, has a hamburguesas a la mexicana that is like covered in sauce in the way that a wet burrito is covered in sauce. I don't know that you can pick it up with your hands and retain any kind of dignity.
I'm unclear if there's even a bun involved in that burger.
Does there need to be?
I don't know.
I mean, and of course, you ask, it's covered in enchilada sauce. And it's a steak ranchero meat turned into a burger. I don't know. Maybe we need to look outside the box about what makes a burger, what qualifies as a burger. There's probably going to be some hot dog sandwich debate happening. But anyway, we're enthused about it because it's one of the fun things we get to do, and hopefully a little more traffic for restaurants, and hopefully people will go out and try some new places and order other things, and boost some restaurant business while having some fun.
I can honestly say that I think this is the third or fourth Burger Week we've done. Do you remember, Jen?
I'm trying to track back by burgers I ate, but it's confusing.
This is every year. This is the thing that I get the most reader feedback on. We do investigative pieces and hard hitting things, these beautiful heartfelt feature stories, and without fail, Burger Week is the one that months later I'll be stopped in the street and they'll be like, "I love that Burger Week thing you did." So yeah, it's fun. People like it.
So, Jen, thanks for giving us the rundown on some of the ones that stood out to you. I want to mention, too, just real briefly, there's a waffle one, which is pretty cool.
That's true.
I had no idea that was even a thing. So shout out to the waffle place. Where's that? Rio Dell, I guess?
That is in Rio Dell, where, Rio Dell, for being a tiny town, has really good burgers. It's good. Have you been to Wildwood Waffles?
No, I was just going to say, I got to get their name right. It would have been not fair. But yeah, Wildwood Waffles. I didn't even know they existed, but now I'm excited to go check it out.
Yeah, you go into the hardware plant feed garden store, and there's a corner, and inside in that corner is Wildwood Waffles. And you can get waffles with ham and cheese on them, or waffles. It's basically a folded waffle stuffed with maybe berries and cream cheese or whatever, and it's good.
I got their burger offering. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, and it was delicious. It was a favorite.
Are we driving down to Rio Dell?
I think we are.
Yeah.
and not to belabor this, before we segue away a little bit, but there's also one that's a stuffed burger. So I've had those in the past. Jen, what's your thoughts on the stuffed burger? I guess that's the pub at the Creamery.
Yeah, my take on the stuffed burger is leave it to the professionals.
Yeah.
Tales of stuffed burgers out, and in best case scenario, wonderful burger, ruined shirt. It's fine. Don't wear something nice to eat a stuffed burger. Are you out of your mind? Tales of making the stuffed burger at home end in woe. And sometimes food poisoning. It's a lot of timing and size and proportion to get a stuffed burger right and not end up with uncooked fillings or uncooked meat, et cetera, et cetera. So leave it to the professionals. Enjoy it while it's available to you out in a restaurant setting.
It's like a turducken.
It is like the turducken. It's kind of a stunt, and put on your Evel Knievel helmet and do it.
Okay, cool. Well, this looks really cool. I'm glad you guys do this. Like I said, I tried to participate, and it's a reason to get out and about. The cool thing, the key takeaway here is that in the North Coast Journal, it is a pullout. So you could pull out this section, take it with you, look at the map, figure out you got pictures of all the different burgers with the price points, so people can, there's no sticker shock involved. You kind of know what you're in for before you get in the car. So again, I know everybody appreciates it. Even Thad said that people seem to appreciate it more than some of the other amazing work you do. So thank you for this.
And I'll just add, if you're going to eat 28 burgers over 10 days, you need to plan ahead. So chart out your itinerary, get serious.
Tell a friend where you'll be, Yeah.
The safety and emergency backup plan.
Yes.
Well, cool. Thank you again, Jen. Let's segue now over to Thad. One of the articles that was covered this week is about the renaming of Patrick's Point. Can you tell us a little bit about what you guys are covering on that front?
Yeah, we have a wonderful story from Kim Weir about this new effort to rename Patrick's Point State Park. Rename it as Sumeg State Park after the Yurok term for the area. And so Kim kind of dove into the park's history and its namesake. It's named after Patrick Began, who I knew that it had a sordid namesake history, but I didn't know the specifics of it. And so I guess it's this guy, Patrick Began, who settled and built a homestead in that area, and was also kind of known as a murderer. He was killed a Yurok boy at one point when he lived in that area, and then after leaving that area north of Trinidad and south of Big Lagoon, he then later led a militia that committed some atrocities and a massacre. So not a good guy at all. And when the park was formed, that area had already kind of become known as Patrick's Point, and so it just adopted that name. And now the Yurok tribe has officially requested that the name be changed, and it seems like State Parks is poised to do it. So staff is recommending the name change. It goes before the State Parks Commission later this month on the 30th, I believe. And it only seems natural that if they are going to change the name, that it absolutely be Sumeg State Park, not just because it's the Yurok term for the area, but it's also one of the things that Patrick's Point State Park is best known for is Sumeg Village, which if anybody hasn't been there, who's watching or listening, I highly recommend it. I actually just happened to go there a few weeks ago with my family, and it's just a really gorgeous recreation of a traditional Yurok village site with some family homes, a dance spot, some changing huts. It's really, really cool.
And so this article, besides talking about this particular transition from Patrick's Point State Park, which I think was made a state park about 100 years ago, but it's part of a larger process of evaluating place names and finding a way to, I think the quote in the article is, correct the historical record and acknowledge wrongdoings. Can you tell us a little bit more about that larger process that's unfolding across California?
Yeah, so this is the first kind of example of it happening through state parks in Humboldt County. But as you said, it's kind of a statewide effort, and it really started a couple years ago. I think in 2019, when Governor Gavin Newsom took, while very long overdue, also the unprecedented California step of apologizing for the atrocities and the attempted genocide of Native people in California, which was, not. I think it often gets characterized in popular history as people saying that, like, well, there was these militias, there was kind of these marauding people who took laws into their own hands or matters into their own hands, and really, that's just kind of disingenuous. Really, this was a state-sanctioned genocide effort to wipe out Native people from California. And so when Gavin Newsom made that apology to Native communities, he also pledged kind of a reconciliation commission. And this is an offshoot of that, this addressing place names and state facility names in an effort to kind of reassess and purge them of anything that has, genocidal histories to them, like Patrick's Point.
Yeah, and so in the article it goes on, and I had heard this before. It's language in general. So there are place names and descriptors that people have used for a really long time, like I guess Larrabee Valley. Well, that turns out that person was involved in a massacre. But also more innocuous things, like to unless you know about it. Like I was on in a conversation with a gentleman who explained to me that the word squaw itself just has so much legacy baggage of exploitation. Is that something that you could elaborate on a little bit more?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a hugely offensive term to Native folks, and it's not to Native communities, and it's not just that it is kind of a racial slur, which it is, but it's also very misogynistic, and it's it's a term for part of the female anatomy. And, locally we have, I think that most people probably are aware now that California made big news in California, I think a week or two ago, that the ski resort in Lake Tahoe by that name has renamed itself, and after I think getting some official requests from some Native tribes there. And but locally, there's all kinds of examples of this type of language that is really steeped into place names. And so we have several squaw creeks in Humboldt County, like you said, Larrabee Valley. There's I think Kinsman Pond or Kinsman Creek. There are lots of place names here that just have horrible histories, and it's well past time some of them start getting reimagined and rethought.
Yeah, and then so it even involves the article also even mentions Fort Bragg itself. So Fort Bragg, the government of Fort Bragg is involved in a renaming process. I don't know if you have any further insights on that.
Yeah, Kim caught up with a council member there who I think was part of a committee that did some polling and got some public input. But they've decided that they're going to rename the city, but they don't know to what yet. And I think they're coming forward with some suggestions next month.
So it's changes is coming all around, and it's a part of a learning process for the community, it's part of a healing process. Thank you so much for covering this article and telling us a little bit more about what Kim's added in here. Any last thoughts at all? I know you guys, we recently had a conversation about Humboldt-Redwood State Park. Had a naming change. Last thoughts on that before we wrap up on this?
Yeah, I think that I think the Humboldt-Redwood State Park is a great example. And I guess what I would stress is I think that there's people who get upset about change and get upset about that some history is being lost or washed over or ignored or something like that. And I think I think we can change place names and still remember history. And I don't think we need to commemorate somebody who committed atrocities in the past by naming what really is a jewel of Humboldt County. That park is an absolutely fabulous place after them. And I'm just really encouraged that State Parks is going to make this change, it looks like.
Well, fantastic. Thanks again. Jen, we have a few minutes left to talk about what else you guys have going on this week. I know that there is a really hysterical, satirical piece that you've contributed. Can you tell us, give us a little teaser about that today?
I think hysterical is probably a good descriptor for how I feel most of the time. So it makes sense. So I wrote a satirical piece in the Seriously column about trying to get your book club back together in person. It is, for one thing, maybe not a great time to gather. When our hospital capacities are looking better and when our case positivity rates are a little bit lower, but there's this real push to be back to normal, to kind of force ourselves back to normal. And at the same time, there's this tension in trying to both keep ourselves and each other safe and be as responsible as we can be, without rules in place, without a tier telling us, a color-coded tier telling us this is what you're allowed to do, this is what you're not allowed to do. As far as personal home gatherings, there are recommendations, but I think a lot of times people are just kind of winging it. And while they're winging it, they're not just weighing out how safe is this. They're also weighing out the social pressure and the weirdness of feeling like you're locking down maybe and seeing everybody else just out and about at, ball games and doing whatever, or people who are, gathering, having dances, doing whatever. And then you're sort of like, I don't understand. So the Emmys was and or you're on the other side and you're doing stuff and then you see someone in a full hazmat suit and you're like, am I okay? What am I? It's been hard to navigate. But then also, there are relationships that are strained by COVID denial, by, vaccine resistance or anti-vax, anti-mask sentiment. And, people who are really pushing an agenda and theories that are just wild as hell, and seeing people trying to be like, well, we can have different opinions and we can still be friends. We don't have to cut off relationships. But at some point you got to ask yourself, is this legit crazy? I want to be able to say I can have friends who I have a difference of opinion with. And I do have lots of friends with whom I have differences of opinion, but it is impossible for me to maintain friendships with people who do not think that I should exist as I exist. That includes, my identity, that includes my health, that includes doing stuff around me that's dangerous. And it's been really hard for people to navigate what they see as, good moral behavior, good friend behavior, good family behavior, while also dealing with friends, families, coworkers, etc., that are just straight up doing dangerous stuff. believing crazy online theories. I mentioned somebody who thinks that, the vaccine's going to make you magnetic, which, if only it did, I would not be searching for my keys like I do. They'd just be on my forehead or whatever. But it's been wild watching, through, either through social media or interpersonal contact or, in conversations. It's been wild seeing, everyone trying to negotiate this terrain without open battle.
It's great. You weave a bunch of these insights and observations people have about friends, peers, with things you see online through the conversation and email exchange about reconnecting through book club. And I love it. I think it's hysterical. I've already told people about it. Yeah.
I think the other central message is don't reply all to every single email. That's hopefully the takeaway.
Is the common theme, because you never know who you're going to mix together. Well, listen, guys, this was really fantastic speaking with you guys this week. I really appreciate your insights and contributions to the community. This was fun.
Thanks so much for having us.
North Coast Journal is available online anytime and on newsstands now. Pick one up. Stay informed. Stay safe. Until next week, take care.